Hello and welcome to a rather Christmassy edition of the Paranormal Concept Show, exclusive to the PAUK Radio Network. Tonight, as it's a Christmas special, tonight I'm dressed as the big man himself, Santa, and I'm joined in the studio by Santa's head elf, Kerry Greenaway, and donning the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer costume this year, it's Richard Clements.
Oh dear. The amount of hassle I had getting this costume.
I know. And you really need to be careful where you're sticking that antler.
Yeah. I mean, I got some funny looks on the bus. I'll say that.
How are you, Kerry, today?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. In my little elf costume with my little bells on my feet.
Excellent, isn't it?
And he broke the whole table.
I'm glad you've entered the Christmas spirit anyway for this show.
Well, for once I thought maybe I'll put my Grinch to one side and actually embrace Christmas for you, because you love it, don't you, Paul?
Oh, absolutely. I love the Christmas shows. They're so full of fun and so much information about Christmas as well.
Yeah, you love all of this. You really get into the Christmas eventually. Yeah, you do your bar humbug for the first part of the December.
Yeah, normally 24th of December is when I think, actually, it's all right, not so bad. After you get to see some of the traditional Christmas movies on the telly, then it's really Christmas.
You've already started, though.
Yeah.
You started ages ago.
I've been tormented with the old Christmas movies so far, but there's still a certain few that you've got to watch before it's Christmas. I mean, Die Hard, for example.
Right.
Christmas movie, isn't it, that one?
Well, controversial, the Die Hard.
It's not controversial because it's set at Christmas, so it's a Christmas movie.
Home Alone, have you had that yet?
We've had Home Alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Another one.
We haven't watched Elf yet. So that's on my list. Done Mary Poppins last night.
Oh, that's a brilliant film.
Yeah,
the original.
Yeah.
You've got to watch the original. Come on now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't like the newer one.
Was that because it linked into our foray into Victoria?
Possibly. I don't really know. I just don't think the songs are very catchy. Where there was a moral to the story about a family coming together in the first one, I didn't really see that sort of moralistic story to the second one.
I haven't seen the second one, so I can't comment.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You're not missing much.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's it. Okay, so last week I did mention to you that I've got a Christmas surprise for you for this show.
You did.
And I know
it's just the costumes then.
No, it's not just the costumes. No, you're going to love this.
Oh my God!
It's. I've actually had my special Christmas IQ elf working this week, and she's come up. She's come up. I know you were speculating before the show about a quiz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It's a special Christmas quiz.
Oh my God!
My special IQ elf, my Christmasly elf, has been working really hard, so they come up with a few facts. So I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
You two are going to answer it, and then I'll give you the answer with a little bit of fact about it. So it's an educational quiz.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of this.
Yeah? Okay, right.
So, we're not very good at answering questions, though.
No, we've had plenty of practice all year doing quiz nights.
Well, yes, we have. We've had our quiz nights, so...
We have, but I think that's proof that we're not very good at them.
Okay, right. So for the first question, I want the nearest number.
Oh,
who's
God.
going to win the point. There's only 10 questions. Okay. So how many Christmas lights light up Oxford Street in London this year?
Oh my word! It's got to be thousands, Rich, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it must...
250,000? Should we go for the high numbers?
I wouldn't say that many, but I'd say 10,000.
Okay, well,
That's
the
quite
answer...
a big range there in there between 10
be
and
fair,
250.
Kerry's going to win this.
Yes!
150,000. The answer is 222,000.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh, stop changing the bulbs on. Right, it's bad enough when you take your tree down and the light. Can you imagine doing? Oh my God, that's horrendous.
Absolutely.
Oh, that
And
is
this
awesome.
year, the area will be lit with 27 LED light curtains, which will be draped down the length of the whole street, made up of the 222,000 lights.
Wow. Well,
Yep,
Okay.
big round of applause for the people that put the lights up there.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well done.
Okay, so question number 2. Before being associated with Christmas, what was a Yule?
A log.
Yule.
Yeah.
A log.
Yeah, a log.
So that's what I thought. But apparently it was a pagan midwinter festival.
Oh, yeah, well, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Yule log. Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, okay.
It
I'll
was
accept that.
celebrated by Germanic people and was connected to Norse mythology, with Odin being the Yule father who led the wild hunt across the sky. Yuletide is about 2 months long and falls roughly mid-November to early January, and that was in the middle of the Yule. Yeah, in the middle of the Yuletide is Yule.
Oh, it would be, yeah, because
Yeah.
you often hear Christmas referred to as Yuletide, don't you?
Of course you do.
Yeah,
Or
and
Christmas
that's
cards
bang in
and
the middle.
stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And also,
Okay.
and isn't the solstice Yule?
Yes, I think it does fall in that
I should have
period as
known
well.
that. I should have known that.
Yes, you should have.
Naughty
Absolutely,
Kerry.
Kerry.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
slap your wrists. Okay, number 3. In what country did the carol Silent Night originate from?
Germany.
No, it was linked to Good King Wenceslas slap. No, was it? No, I don't know. No idea.
Okay, just say a country. Just pick one.
Oh, God.
Clacton, just outside.
Yeah, let's go for
Jamaica,
Clacton.
Yeah, just outside of Jamaica, yeah.
It's Austria,
Ooh.
Austria. Ooh,
and the
close.
original German title was Still Nascht Hellig Nascht.
Okay.
Yes, we used to sing it in German at school because our deputy headmistress was Austrian or German. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's Austrian then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know why?
Okay. Well, the lyrics were written by Joseph Moore in 1816, and the music was composed by Franz Xavier Gruber in 1818. It was also the heartwarming Christmas miracle. As a heartwarming Christmas miracle, it was also sang in the impromptu World War One Christmas truce.
Yes. Well, we
Yes,
had that
that's
in the quiz last week,
what-
didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Ooh.
Because it was a carol popular in both English-speaking and German-speaking countries, it was known by both sides. So that's why they both sang it in their respective languages.
I find that particular carol, it's quite, it is incredibly nostalgic actually when you see it. There are some carols that are very emotive, aren't there? There are others that you think, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
are some that really sort of do touch you, and I would say Silent Night is one of those, isn't it?
And it is something you can imagine sort of men at war sort of singing, can't you? Sort of huddled up, sort of like, sort of just giving them a sort of a slight sort of sense of home.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine that though? You're in the middle of like you're in the dead zone, aren't you? Between the trenches, and they've come together to do this football match, and amongst all that death and despair and fear, and then they do a football match, you know, as you do, because that's the
As you
universal
do.
language, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And then they start singing, and they obviously the Germans will probably be singing it in their German native language, and then you've got the English singing it in their language, and I bet if you could record a piece of moment in time, it's one of those. We talk about moments in time that are just so unique to that moment, and that would have been one of those. It's you can't imagine how that must have felt at that moment.
Yeah, I think, you know, if it had just been that on its own, you know, the war would have been over then. But
Yeah.
just the sheer fact that England won that game, the Germans weren't so happy about that. So forth.
Oh,
It's been
well,
replayed
all
time and time again throughout history on that one, hasn't it?
at least it didn't go to penalties. That's we
Yeah,
lost it
so-
then.
Okay, so number 4. What part of an animal were the first artificial Christmas trees made from?
What part of an animal? I'd say whale bone, because that sounds pretty Victorian. If they had artificial trees.
Kerry, are you going to hazard a guess?
It's part of an animal.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd hate to say it, but I want to say fur.
Okay. Well, the answer. Well, you're not too far away with that. To be fair, the answer is goose feathers painted green.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see how that would work.
Yep.
Yeah.
These feather trees were the first made in Germany during the 19th century. Another form of artificial Christmas tree were wooden pyramids painted green and lit by candles.
See, that's safer than putting candles on an actual tree.
Oh, we used to have that. My auntie was Norwegian, and they do the Scandinavian German tradition of giving the gifts out Christmas Eve. And yes, and we used to have carols around the tree, and she had candles on it. And God knows how that never went up, but there you go.
Absolutely. Okay, number
I like
5.
that idea.
Oh, it looks really good.
No, like with the wooden one, doing like a wooden candle stand. I think they should bring that back. I'm surprised the marketing haven't come up with something. And I mean, I know there are sort of like tea light holders that you can get, but not like that. How I imagine that.
You get some like flame resistant wood or something.
Or you would stagger it, wouldn't you? You would actually have it staggered.
Yeah.
I suppose. Anyway, that's different.
Let's crack on.
That's different. Go on, carry on.
How tall was the tallest cut Christmas tree?
Oh my goodness.
How tall?
Yeah, and we go with the nearest figure for the win.
They're quite big, because you think the one in Trafalgar Square, it's enormous, isn't it?
Yeah, I should imagine they don't get a lot bigger than that, though. So, how tall is that tree?
I don't know. How big?
He said the tallest cut Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I mean, surely there's you can't go beyond a certain height without them becoming unwieldy, because they wouldn't fit in the bucket, would they?
Well, this is true. So how big is the one in Trafalgar Square then?
Oh, I don't. Oh.
I haven't got a clue about height. God, I'm just the same as heights.
Yeah,
I'm the same with heights as I am with geography, everybody.
90 feet, I'd say.
Okay, Richard's gone with 90 feet. Kerry, you
I'm going to go higher.
or lower?
I'm going to go higher. I think I'm going to go 120 feet.
Okay, Kerry won again. the answer is 221 foot.
200. Blimey.
Yeah, and that was a Douglas fir, and it was put up in 1950 in the Northgate Shopping Centre in Seattle, Washington.
Oh, they like to go big in America, don't they?
Exactly. You know, go big or go home, as they say.
Yeah, but imagine dressing that tree. It's all well and good having a big tree, but it's like when you go and buy one, it doesn't look very big in the garden centre, does it? And you get it home in your front room, and it like takes over the whole room.
You got
that's right.
Cut the roof off, cut your roof off. Or
Cut
something.
everything down.
Yeah. Okay, the next question. In what country might you find the money under the tablecloth when you sit down to eat a traditional Christmas evening supper? Christmas Eve supper, even.
Well, I'd have to go for Germany again. That's if it's Christmas Eve.
Kerry, are you going?
I'm going to go Russia.
Oh, you're going Russia, not Clacton near.
No, I'm going to go Russia, but I don't know why.
Okay. Right, okay, well, the answer's Poland.
Well, it's been the right sort of rough area.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
But apparently, first you have to abstain from eating all day, and then you have to wait till someone spots the first star in the sky to sit down and eat.
What?
That's the tradition. Sometimes you might also find bits of hay under the table in remembrance of Jesus being born in a manger.
Oh, that's cute.
That's what the Polish do for their Christmas evening, Christmas Eve dinner.
That's a bit buggered if it's a cloudy night, aren't you?
Well, that's it. As soon as someone spots that first star, that's it. They're in there.
I'll be like, I've got a star, everybody.
Yeah,
right here in my hand.
They probably put their Christmas tree up and put a star on it just to go, look, the star's there, we can eat.
Yeah, the minute it's dark. There you go.
Exactly.
I'm hungry.
I'm sure they find a way around it.
Yeah, they must do.
I'm sure they do.
I love that though. I love different traditions in different. It's just really weird, isn't it? Different traditions in different countries.
Yeah.
Brilliant though.
Absolutely, but it all starts from the same story, doesn't it? At the end
Yeah.
of the day. So, number 7. What country did the custom of putting up a Christmas tree originate?
I'll say Germany again. I keep going for Germany. I've got to get it right. It is Germany. Got to be.
Kerry?
Norway.
It's Germany.
Prince Albert.
I'll let you have
well
that
done,
one,
Richard.
darling.
That's one point.
From Germany in the 18th century, possibly the 16th century, it spread to Britain and from there to America and elsewhere around the world. But I think it was more to do with Prince Albert bringing over that tradition.
Mm-hmm.
He was German and obviously married Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
So I think he brought that over to us. But I do believe it does go back further with the paganism period.
Yeah, you used to bring a bower in rather than a tree, because it's all about appeasing the wood fairies, basically. So you'd bring them in, and then you'd adorn the tree with like sparkly things, basically, and goodies to keep them happy through the winter. So they looked after you, you look after them, type thing.
Exactly, yeah. And it was to do with the sprites and things as well, wasn't it? To keep them inside during the winter. Because brass monkeys were freezing, I think, something like that.
Well, something like
it's
that,
about looking after them and them looking after you. So it's about a way of honouring the forest and the trees.
Yeah.
They give so much. Or they believe, well, they do, don't they? Trees, they give a lot. And also, don't forget, these people are foraging as much as rudimentary farming, but you also did a lot of foraging, and the forest gives a lot in regards to fruits and, berries and seeds and stuff. So, it's all part of that. And if you look after them, they see you through the winter. And, and they don't get mischievous if you look after them. So you have to keep them entertained, which is why you decorate your bower, because you have to keep them entertained, otherwise they get mischievous.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Okay,
you
so
don't
number
need
8.
mischievous sprites.
No.
It's bad enough with the sprouts.
Okay, number 8. What was the first year that Rockefeller Center Christmas tree was put up?
Oh.
The closest one to the proper year gets the point.
I don't. 1894.
Kerry?
Oh, I don't even know. No idea.
Guess.
It's got to be around the 1800s, isn't it? No, I'm going to go. I'm going to go 1900s. I'm going to go. I'm going to come into the 19th century or 20th century.
Okay.
I don't know, 1900s.
Okay, that's fine, because once again, Kerry, you beat Richard. The answer was 1933.
Oh dear.
And it was apparently the year Rockefeller Plaza opened. There is a story of workers putting up a tree Christmas Eve in 1931 during the construction of Rockefeller Center, and that sort of began the tradition. But there was no tree in 1932, and the tree in 1933 was the first official Rockefeller Center Christmas tree.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah. Okay. So again, next number 9 is another number 1. So you've got to guess roughly what number, and then the closest gets the point. Okay. So how many lights are on the Rockefeller tree?
I'll let Kerry go first on this one.
Right. Okay. I reckon around about 750, 800.
750, 800.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
So you mean 1,000, but okay, 758,000.
I didn't
Richard?
say 1,000.
Okay, 758.
750 to 1,000.
Okay, right.
In that realm.
Richard?
I'll say 600.
Okay.
And that's not 1,000, that's 600.
600,000 versus 750 odd, yeah?
No, not
Okay.
600,000, no, 600.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I do believe, Richard, you're closest. The answer is 50,000.
Ah, yes.
The
No,
tree branch.
no,
The
he's
tree,
not.
yeah,
No,
he
he
is.
said
You said
600.
750,000. You're
No, yeah.
700,000 out.
We weren't thousands at all. We were in the hundreds.
You said thousands.
No, I didn't. I said hundreds.
Okay, you both
And
are.
Richard said 100 too.
Talking about moving the goalposts afterwards.
Yeah, you could both have a point. Hush.
We're
Or
both
both
wrong. We're both
Yeah.
well out, is what I would
Yeah,
say.
you're both
Well,
wrong.
yeah.
How many was it again? Sorry?
50,000.
50,000 lights?
Yep.
Jeepers.
The tree branches are lit with approximately 50,000 LED lights that need nearly 7 miles of electrical wire.
Oh, that's from here to Chelmsford.
Yeah. Okay, and number 10. How many turkeys were sold in the UK last year?
Oh my God.
Oh,
Right, hang on, let's think about this. So there are, 6 billion people in the UK?
And the map is like
Billion.
about an inch long, depending on
Right.
how you look at the map.
Okay,
turkeys.
Get some calculators out.
1.4 billion.
Okay, and Richard?
I put 26 million turkeys.
And how many did you say, Kerry? You said billion, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm in billions over here.
Okay, well, it was actually 10 million, so Richard won.
Yeah.
Okay. So about 10 million turkeys were sold in the UK for Christmas every year. Estimates the British turkey population body, with 3/4 of the households sitting down to eat the roast turkey. About one third of British Christmas turkeys are sold by individual retailers and remainder by the supermarkets.
Nice
Yeah.
to see people support local businesses, though, at Christmas, at least.
Absolutely.
You know, they should do it all year round.
They should, absolutely. And that concludes the quiz.
Well done. There was a lot I didn't
Well
know
done.
in there. Well done to your special Christmas elf.
Yeah, well done. Elf Lucy, if she's listening in the background.
Yep, she's listening. Thumbs up. Okay,
Actually, we need to give a little shout out to our Lucy, because she's in the background and quite often she comes up with really good information for various shows we've done over the years. So thank you very much, Lucy. So an official shout out to our Lucy in the background there.
Yes.
Our unofficial researcher.
Yep, that's it. She's jumping up and down with joy.
As long as she's not upsetting the tree.
No, she's left that alone. That's fine.
Are you still allowed near it?
No, if I get near it, I'll get my hands slapped. Yeah. No, I'm not allowed within like 2 foot of the tree.
I see.
Yeah. Except for Christmas Day. That's it.
Oh, because you're the first one under it, aren't you? Getting all your presents out.
Exactly. Yeah. I do keep telling to stop feeding the presents under the tree, though. Big kid.
Oh dear.
Anyway, yeah. So obviously we've got a Christmas show tonight. So let's crack on with that.
Cool.
So where we starting then, Kerry?
Okay, well, let's have a look at the real story of Santa Claus. You can't talk about Christmas without looking at Father Christmas, can we?
No.
Or Santa Claus. So we have to start with the big man himself. So who was Santa Claus?
It's me tonight.
It's you tonight. It certainly is, Paul.
Yeah.
Saint Nicholas.
I can't do ho 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 because it's copyright.
You just like those mince pies, don't you?
Oh, I love mince pies. Oh yeah, definitely. Kids, if you're listening, leave out mince pies for Santa this year.
Already got them sorted. Now, he was actually Saint Nicholas. Let's talk about Saint Nicholas, guys. He was actually born in a village in Patara, which is, well, it used to be in Greece, but it's now part of Turkey, thanks to the civil war out there. He was wealthy. He was born to wealthy parents, but they died in an epidemic while Nicholas was still quite young. And bless him, he used his entire inheritance to help the needy, the sick, and the suffering.
He did.
That's good of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so generous, I'm not going to lie.
No, you keep it all to yourself.
But that's why you're not Santa.
Which is why I'm not a saint.
Yeah.
And never will be one. Now, there's one account of Nicholas says that he actually presented 3 poor daughters with dowries so they would not have to become prostitutes.
Oh, I see. So, because back then, men wouldn't marry them unless they had a bit of money behind them, would they?
Oldest profession in the world.
Mm.
Now, on 3 different occasions, the bags of golds providing the dowries had appeared in their home. They'd been tossed through an open window and are said to have landed in stockings or shoes that were left before the fire to dry. Now, this is where the custom comes of children hanging their stockings to await gifts from St. Nicholas.
No, that's true, yeah.
We never had stockings in my house. We always had pillowcases, from what I can remember.
I think it was what you use, what you have, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now it's like I have got a stocking I've got to get one for Daryl actually, but I've got one for the boys, handcrafted. I got them made because it's part of it. Stockings are part of Christmas, and then I've got one for the dog as well.
Yeah, you can't leave poor Marley out.
He's got his own, the hellhound himself has got his own stocking, everybody. He's got lots of goodies to be put in there, waiting to be put in there. I can't put them in there too early, though, because he's clocked on that he's constantly sniffing at his stocking. So I know if I put him in too early, he'll be in there.
Yeah, and I take it most of it will be food related, and that won't last long.
Oh, and he's got a few toys as well.
Oh, right. Oh, be quiet, because he might be listening, mightn't he?
I
Yeah.
know. Well, it's not around
And
me.
dogs have good ears.
They do. He's asleep on my bed at the moment. Anyway, St. Nicholas. And Nicholas, he's not a saint at this point, just Nicholas. He was actually made the Bishop of Myra while he was still quite young. And he was actually well known for his generosity and his love for children. And then this is why we get gift giving in honour of St. Nicholas, because he was always giving gifts. Now, the modern name, Santa Claus, comes from the Dutch Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas. I love St. Nicholas. He gives presents.
Yeah.
What do you want? Anyway, talking of which, what would you want Santa Claus to bring you this year, guys?
PS5.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, I never know, and I'm one of these awkward people when people ask me what I want for Christmas. I never really know, but usually now, the things I despised as a child are the things I would really want. I wouldn't mind perhaps a pair of slippers and underpants for a change.
Proper dad presents, aren't they?
Come back, Granny, all is forgiven. Or a nice knitted jumper.
Oh, bless him. A nice knitted jumper.
What about you, Kerry? What would you like for Christmas?
Me? What do I want for this year? Oh, you know me, I'm not really that materialistic.
Actually, yeah, I do know you. You want a PS5 just in case I don't get one.
Then I'll give it to you, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, Paul, I don't need this. You can have this.
Yeah.
You can have this.
You're so nice.
I don't actually know. It's been an ongoing problem for my other half this year. Keeps going, what do you want? I don't know. The usual perfume, I need a new pair of slipper boots. Exciting stuff, right?
It's all exciting stuff, yeah. Well, and if you don't want your slipper boots, give them to me. I'll appreciate them.
You can have my old ones, Richard. I've gone through the toe. No, which is the only reason why I need a new pair of slipper boots. Anyway, he died. St. Nicholas died on the 6th of December in 343 AD. And on the eve of his death, children bestowed gifts in his honour. December the 6th still remains the main day, for giving presents in many countries in Europe. Now, this was changed to the 25th or 24th, 25th of December because of the Reformation.
Yeah, I suppose they wanted to move it to give it more of a sort of like the Christians done with a lot of things. They sort of used it to sort of mark the birth of Jesus as opposed to someone else.
It's sort of an amalgamation of the date is actually an amalgamation because you've got the pagan Yule around that time, which is on the solstice.
Yeah.
You've got all of these traditions kind of condensed down onto this one day, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know why they picked the 25th though.
It's Yeah, the 21st is the shortest day, but the sun afterwards hangs in the sky. It doesn't move. It doesn't transcend back for 3 days, and that's the 25th, or 4 days or whatever, and that's the 25th. So that actually marks when the sun starts to move back along the horizon.
Oh, I see. That's quite good.
Yes, it's very solar sort of orientated, yes, but yeah, that's basically it.
So in the Bible then, what date is the date of Jesus' birth? I know it doesn't state it, does it?
It doesn't state it, but sort of scholars have looked at it and they've sort of gone by. There's a lot of shepherds around and sort of bits and pieces like that, and they believe it could have been September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we've kind of got his date wrong. But I suppose to bring it into Universal and bring all, like I say, talk about this amalgamation of lots of different traditions coming in under one banner.
Yeah.
I suppose it sort of makes sense to highlight it as a Christianise it.
Well, yeah, and I reckon some miserable sort of person thought, well, we'll have a short holiday because we can't have them having bank holidays all the way through December. We'll just give them a couple of days.
Oh, yeah, that's probably more like it. Nicholas's tomb in Myra actually became a popular place of pilgrimage. But there's a lot of wars and attacks in the region, so a lot of Christians were very concerned that access to the tomb might become difficult. So in 1087, most of his bones were actually moved to Bari in Italy, and that's where they remain to this day. And a basilica was constructed of the same year to store his remains, and that's now the main place of pilgrimage for his devotees. And we talked about pilgrimages and saints' bones and stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, what was that? The Relic show, wasn't it? And all bits and pieces. Yeah, very important to the church, isn't it? And
it was probably one bloke just carrying the bones, and he kept dropping legs and leg bones, arms and ribs.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long way from Turkey to Italy.
Yeah.
To Italy, so I suppose he lost a few on the way, or
if he was that, he's like, I'm really hungry. I was a bit of meat on that one.
Yeah, or he probably was selling a few off on the way. Here, I've got a rib from this saint. Give us a few shekels for that.
Oh, oh my goodness. Well, actually, guys, an anatomy professor from the University of Barry, or however you say that word, catalogued, measured and photographed the saint's remains in 1957. He tried to sketch what Nicholas would look like if, we've seen this quite a lot actually over the last few years, haven't we? Where they've taken bones and looked at the structure and actually reconstructed the face of famous historical characters throughout the years. Well, they did this with St. Nicholas. And I just find that absolutely fascinating, that look back of what somebody could look like. And it's been quite eye-opening because, when we look at portraits of people, it's very kind, should we say?
Oh, very kind, yes. So, well, just back then, particularly, during the 17th century, you weren't, your portrait painter wasn't going to really portray you in a bad light, and there's a couple of classic stories surrounding it. I mean, what was it? Anne of Cleves, Henry VIII's wife, and he sent his court painter because it was an arranged marriage. He didn't see her until the night before the wedding. So he thought, well, I'll best send my painter out to capture her likeness, and so he sent an Holbein over to Flanders. He took a portrait, came back, showed it to Henry. Thought, yep, she'll do. But she arrived the night before the wedding, and Henry went into her bedchamber disguised to have a quick look, and Holbein had used a lot of artistic license.
He used a filter.
Yes, because after that, Henry referred to her as the Flanders mare.
Aww. He got on really well with her, though. When their marriage was dissolved, he actually did maintain a really good relationship with her as a friend. He couldn't see her as a lover or a wife, but he did have a very good relationship with her afterwards. And
he was very kind, and he sort of pensioned her off to the country, I believe, somewhere in Kent, I believe.
She probably had the best of all the deals with Henry's ex-wives. She played it right. He was like, I don't want to marry you. She was like, that's fine, Your Highness. It's absolutely fine. Do what you will with me. I don't care. As long as you don't chop my head off, it's fine.
There's another story, another character from British history, Oliver Cromwell. And he wasn't the best-looking guy in the world. And he insisted on his painting, when he had his portrait done, that his painter actually included warts and all. That's where the saying comes from. And he actually instructed his painter to actually capture his likeness, which wasn't very flattering, and he was quite happy with it.
It does make me wonder what they came up with St. Nicholas then. Because I haven't seen the photo or the reconstruction of
Well, if this was back in 1957, it probably wasn't that sort of accurate. I should imagine they can do more now.
Paul, did you find that out?
No, I didn't, but maybe it's something that maybe Richard could find and track down.
Yeah, maybe post
on
the
group page.
Yeah, post it on the Facebook group page, Paranormal Concept, everybody, just in case you were wondering. Now, many modern ideas of Santa Claus have actually been attributed to the poem by Clement Clark Moore, A Visit from St. Nicholas, better known today, and I read this to my children, well, I used to when they were able, when they wanted to, The Night Before Christmas.
Yeah.
When they were little, I used to read this. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house nothing was stirring, not even a mouse. That one.
I bet they loved it.
They did when they were little. Now, God, Christmas spirit, I can't. 10 days away. All I'm saying.
Yeah.
Teenagers, eh? I love that, though. I love The Night Before Christmas, don't you?
Yeah, Christmas Eve's always... it's always...
all right.
But that's where a lot of our imagery and a lot of our, as I say, a lot of the ideas about what we expect Santa to be these days comes from.
It does, absolutely. I mean, even Santa that we all know that wears the red, that comes from the Coca-Cola thing.
Mm.
A
modern image.
It was
of
them
Santa.
that sort of gave the red look to Santa.
Holidays are coming.
Yeah.
Have you seen that advert yet? I don't think I've seen it on the TV yet. Mind you, and I haven't got a telly, so
yeah.
And that's probably something to do with it.
I've thrown nails and razor blades all over the street, waiting for them to come past.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The Grinch is over there again. Popped out. No, this has become, even the Coca-Cola truck has become a new thing, isn't it? It does a round every year of the country in various shopping centres. Or not this year.
Maybe not this year, but...
It didn't do it this year. But I remember it was at Southend one year, and I took the boys to go and see it. And I have to say, it wasn't quite the same as what you see in the adverts. It really wasn't. But it was still really lovely to see.
Was it an Eddie Stobart lorry painted red or something?
No, it was like what you would expect. It just didn't. I don't know. I suppose if it had been snowing and it had been surrounded by snow and driving through the country,
you can't imagine something
like that. It was
like
really
that.
different. It was really weird.
Pulling up on Southend seafront. It hasn't really got the ambience and outside the Kersal or somewhere like that.
No, it was by the shopping centre. So it was actually in the town centre, so it was absolutely heaving with people. They had a big stage with like the local radio DJs and that up there with Santa Claus going oh every 5 minutes, and then you'd all get a can of Coke and like a complimentary, and it was one of those tiny cans. You expect a big one. Yeah. It was one of those tiny cans. Anyway, got off topic. But our modern images is actually mainly from The Night Before Christmas, which actually was released in 1823. Now, this is where we think of riding a sleigh in the skies and landing on the roof, coming down the chimney, having a bag of toys, chubby, fat, jolly kind of thing, big round belly, which, you know what I mean? It's all of those things that actually come from this poem. And the reindeer were also named. Can we name the reindeer without looking at the research? I'd just like to say, everybody.
All I know is Rudolph is Prancer, one of them, and that's about it.
I know
Dasher as well.
No, from the watching some of the Christmas movies this week. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Cupid, and Rudolph.
And the only ones you've missed are Vixen, Dunder, and Blitzen.
Yeah.
Which are basically thunder and lightning. That's what they mean.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, they're from the north, aren't they?
That's right. So that's where our popular image has actually come from. Was basically, again, kind of Victorian times.
According to one of the comedy shows we got in the UK, there was another reindeer called Brian the brown-nosed reindeer. He was twice as quick as the other reindeers, but he couldn't stop us quick.
Oh, you have to bring that old chestnut out, yeah, dust it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's always a Christmas cracker, that one.
That's a good,
Oh, dear.
Good...
Oh, excuse me, made me cough. So anyway, where do we go from here? Right, let's have a look at some of the well-known thing, or not so well-known, or some of the traditions surrounding Christmas. So let's have a look at Rudolph. Actually, I read an interesting fact the other day about reindeer, that female reindeer don't shed their antlers, whereas male reindeer do. So actually, Santa's sleigh is actually pulled by female. I don't know how true this is, everybody. I just saw it as a meme. So it's actually women that pull Santa's sleigh, or women reindeer.
Yeah,
lady
I
reindeer.
heard that as well.
I wouldn't know. I don't know much about sort of reindeers, whether female reindeers actually have antlers, do they? I thought that was particularly with deer and stuff. I thought that was particularly sort of like a male thing.
I don't know. As I say, don't quote me on it. I saw it as a meme.
No.
It's got to be true. If it's a meme.
Oh, yeah, well, and if it's on Facebook, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not arguing with that.
I could be spreading fake news there.
We'll have to take down our page.
Yeah, we'll have to get a reindeer expert on that one.
We will. We'll have to have a look at that. See, write that down, Richard. That's another fact you'll have to
Oh,
check.
dear, yeah. That's, yeah, I'll do that.
Now, Rudolph is the most famous reindeer of all, with his bright red nose. He is supposed to be the lead on Santa's sleigh, and he is perhaps the most lovable of all the... I do think he's... The others have been given a bit bad rap, though. It's only because he's got a red nose.
Well, no, but they were mean to him.
Well, mate, is
Because
this
of his
then why
red nose.
he's become so famous? Is because everyone feels sorry for him?
Yeah, but he used to get picked on and weren't allowed to play the reindeer games, was he?
But then there's a moralistic tale there, isn't it? It's because he was so different from the other reindeers that they all took the mickey
It's
out
a
of
classic ugly duckling story, isn't it?
him. It is. And that's probably why we've got such a little soft spot for good old Rudolph.
Yeah.
And he's got a song about him.
And he's got some... One thing I would like to say is one year, little anecdote for you, I used to do some homework to help get some money coming into the house when the kids were little. And one of the jobs was to mix reindeer food. So it's like a load of glitter and a load of oats, basically, and then you put them in a little bag and tie the bag, and that was the job. And so for months I was mixing oats and bloody glitter, and it was everywhere. Absolutely got everywhere. And you have to put it onto your... you scatter it outside, so it leads the reindeer to your door, right? That's what nowadays is another new kind of modern tradition that they do. Well, let me tell you this, right? Oats, water, it's not really a good mix, everybody. And then glitter, you're walking glitter in and oats in every time. So be careful when you're spreading your reindeer food, everybody. You don't put it on your pathway, put it on the grass.
This will be traiping porridge through your front room, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I learnt that lesson.
You should have just stuck to carrots, me dear.
I know.
Yeah.
All these modern day things that people bring out, like the bloody elf on a shelf. Who come up with that idea? Anyway.
Yeah.
I was glad I missed that one. My kids were a bit old for that one by the time that came out. Anyway, so, the reindeers are quite a big thing because he wouldn't be able to get around the world as quickly as he does without his beautiful little reindeers. You've gone quiet on me, boys.
Oh, no, I thought you dropped out, yeah?
No, I'm still here.
No, we love the reindeers. Yeah, we put a tick by the reindeers. Then.
Tick by the reindeers. We love the reindeer. Right, let's have a look at some other Christmas.
I've never tried reindeer, actually.
It's quite meaty. It's a bit like venison.
Yeah, I've never tried venison.
It's more or less of. Yeah, it's very sort of like a rich sort of meat, like most game meats. Yeah.
Yeah, it is quite rich, but it's nice. It's
I'll have
just
to
quite
try some
strong.
shit.
Yeah, maybe after Christmas though.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't serve it
Don't
up on
put the
Christmas
jinx.
Day. Upset
Depends
the
if I
children.
get my PS5 or not.
Oh, why not? Mum? PS4 earlier, I think.
Right, let's have a look at some Icelandic Christmas folklore. Now, let's talk about Gryla. Now, she's this evil character. She's found quite a lot in the Arctic regions, and she's pictured as a giant troll. Well, trolls are quite a big thing in that whole region as well, aren't they? They're still very common to this day.
Well, yeah, especially sort of like in Iceland and across into the Scandinavian sort of northern regions. Well, trolls, they sort of lurk in the netherworlds, and this is why you sort of tend to get them underneath bridges and stuff like that. But I believe in Iceland, even today, I don't think it's so much to appease the trolls, but it's other fairy folk. They will actually, when they build roads and stuff, they will actually build them around certain areas. They'll get someone to come in to say, well, you can't go through here because this is where the fairies like to live, or the troll, or whatever. And they will actually do their planning.
Yeah.
And they do their town planning and everything around it.
Mm.
Yeah.
They do that in Ireland as well.
Mm.
They do that in Ireland. Anyway, Gryla is believed to kidnap and feast on naughty children at this time of year. And she's often seen with her husband, Leopoldi, but he generally stays at home to tend the fire until she returns from terrorising the children.
Smart man.
Well, yeah, smart man. Yeah, he sort of stokes up the fire whilst he sends the missus out to devour the kids.
Yeah.
It's not just Gryla herself, though, that goes out. She had 13 sons. They are known as the Yule Lads. And they are basically known for their mischief and prank pulling, which, we talk about the fae folk. That's, they are supposed to be very mischievous, even when we were speaking to, oh, God, I can never remember the bloke's name. Oh, Rankin?
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about. Yes, again, is it David?
I'm not sure. Anyway, we were talking, or saw a talk by the guy, and he said, "Oh, don't mess with the fae. They're trickster. They're mischievous and tricksty." He said, "Deal with anything but." Basically, was the fae folk, and this buys into that, doesn't it? Because the 13 sons of Gryla are known for their mischief and prank pulling, and being as she's like a troll, then it ties into the fae folk. All of these. They're earth elements, trolls, aren't they?
Yeah.
Same as gnomes.
Does the kids go out on the hunt with the mum then?
No, I think they go out separately. I think they go out causing havoc because she's the one who just nicks the naughty children.
Okay, no wonder they
13 children
stay indoors with a bit of peace.
Where's that number again, though? 13.
13 children. And didn't they have a TV or something?
Obviously not.
No, no wonder the husband stayed at home. He was probably knackered.
Yeah. I wanted a bit of peace.
Each of the sons had their own special trick, as they say. For spoon licker and window peeper. So you kept your eyes open over the Christmas period because you don't want to find yourself in trouble with this lot of children. Sons, you know what I mean? So, if you saw a peeping Tom through your window, it could well be one of Gryla's sons.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy that one.
I suppose that was an early attempt to try and calm the kids down, wasn't it, over Christmas? I think, well, you've got to be good. You can't open the presents yet.
Oh, you don't want to upset Gryla.
Yeah, Gryla and the lads will be round.
Another modern day is the Grinch. We've got to talk about the Grinch. This is the grouchy green creature.
That's me.
Well, you do give a really good impression. Did you see, again, it was a news article this week that showed that somebody had bought a blow-up. You know, everyone's doing these blow-up things outside their houses at the moment. He bought a blow-up Grinch, and it turned out it was taller than his house when he blew it up. It's enormous. It's absolutely enormous, this Grinch.
Excellent.
Oh, that was brilliant. Now, basically, right, I'd like to point this out. Grinch just didn't, it wasn't Christmas that he didn't like, it was people he didn't like. He didn't like all the joviality, did he, of people?
I can agree with that as well, yeah.
Yeah, guys, this is all we are talking about, isn't it?
Some people take it way too serious, and it's a time for enjoying yourself and having a laugh.
But again, it's a Dr. Seuss character, so it again, in its own way, it's very moralistic.
Yeah.
You know, it was like nobody had really showed him any kindness. And so when everyone was happy, he was like, "Why are you so happy? Well, you've got no right to be happy, blah, blah, blah." And that. And then, you know, but then someone reached out to him, didn't they? Was it a child that reached out to him?
I don't know.
And appreciated him for his differences. And then he began to fall in love with the time of year. And then he was accepted because he was happy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought, that sort of sings to your soul, doesn't it, Kerry? The redeemed, miserable person.
I'm just still waiting for the visits from the three ghosts.
Oh, the good old Dickens three ghosts.
Yeah.
Now let's fly all the way over to Russia. La Befana. This is a witchy ways. She is loved. Oh no, this is Italy. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it's basically.
Oh yes, Italy. Isn't it?
It's in Italy. La Befana. Now she's loved. She is a loved witch. She is loved because she brings presents. We love people who bring presents. She's actually known as Babushka in Russia.
Oh right, so
that's where I got the two muddled up because it's the same thing but in different countries.
Yeah.
Babushka.
There's a song.
I was going to say it's a famous song there, isn't it? Oh, excuse me, my son's piping up. I am recording. God.
Send him back to bed.
Yes, back to bed, you naughty child. I'll send Gryla after you. Now, this is a gentle old soul. She travels the world, leaving cookies and gifts in children's houses. So we like La Befana.
Yeah, obviously she's not going to go and visit Ryder.
No, because he's a naughty child.
Yeah, interrupted the show. Oh dear, there's going to be a scene after this, Paul.
Now,
if everyone wants to see the live, £25 a ticket.
You see the nasty Kerry Greenaway. Now she goes around on a dusty old broomstick, so that's like our traditional perspective or perception, of a witch, isn't it? On a broomstick. Flying in the skies, except this one's a nice one.
Yeah, Eglantine Price, Bedknobs and Broomsticks was a nice witch.
What?
Bedknobs and Broomsticks, have you not seen that? She was a nice witch.
Many years ago.
Yeah, there's a story about a nice witch.
I kind of get confused between Mary Poppins and that one, to be fair. Wasn't that Angela Lansbury?
Mary Poppins was the one with the umbrella and the two kids. Bedknobs and Broomsticks was 3 kids in a bed.
And a bed, yeah, and it was Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Kerry. And I remember, going to see that in Bolton, because the reason I remember it is the exhaust fell off the car on the way home. It's funny what you remember.
It is a bit, isn't it? I only watched it the other night on Disney Plus.
Oh.
And it's got Germans and war in it as well. Sort of, I like the bit at the end when the knights come and they're attacking the invading Germans. So it's got.
Okay. Well, let's disappear back over into Gryla because I didn't quite finish her. Sorry, I skipped ahead. Gryla has a cat.
Well, any good witch would, wouldn't they? Or any sort of woman with witchy tendencies.
She's a troll, but she's got a cat, and, witch cat. I suppose that's probably why I jumped around a bit on this one.
Yeah.
Now, she has a giant cat, not just a little black cat. She's got a giant cat that feasts on anyone. unless you've received new clothes for Christmas, because then she doesn't want to touch her. So this is, again, why we have clothes for Christmas, because, you know, you have to have your new outfit for Christmas, right? Everybody has a new outfit.
Yeah.
A new top
so that's
or something.
why I wasn't eaten by this cat when I was younger, because I always had a nice knitted jumper
Exactly.
for Christmas.
Exactly.
Ah.
And
I thank my grandmother for that.
And actually, this is quite a thing. We see it quite a lot. I work in clothes retail, as you all know by now, because it's Christmas in retail. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. No.
I know,
It must be busy now.
It is a very busy time of year for the people in clothes retail. Well, yeah, we're trying to maintain busy. We're getting locked down. It's a bit difficult at the moment. Never sure if we're open or not. But, you know, we are open. And, yeah, and the amount of people that I've got to have a new outfit for Christmas, got to have something new for Christmas to wear on Christmas Day. And, yeah, this is actually part of this. Your cat will eat you if you don't have new clothes for Christmas.
And perhaps your store will ought to take up that sort of advertising sort of campaign.
I always
buy from us, otherwise we'll send the cat on you.
Yeah,
Dressed as
people
Kerry.
always used to buy me socks for Christmas, and I always thought it was because they couldn't bother to find anything that I wanted.
No, it's because you have to have new items of clothing for Christmas.
Yeah, now I know.
There you go. See, that's probably not true at all. It's probably just people couldn't think of anything to buy you for Christmas, but we could blame it on the all cat. We can go back to Iceland and say it's an Icelandic thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll blame them.
Let's go over to the drunken French.
The drunken French.
They like their wine in France, don't they?
Yeah.
And every time my kids quote, well, in France, they allow their children to have a glass of wine. Like, yes, watered down. Now, let's have a look at lutins. Now, they're supposed to stem from Lapland, but they're part of the French culture, I suppose. Now, again, we go into there's a common thing throughout all of these traditions, isn't there? Apart from Rudolph that we've spoken about, which is basically coming down from the Fae, because these are a festive hobgoblin.
Well, you've got to have a hobgoblin lurking around.
You've got to have a little hobgoblin. Now, they're mischievous.
A lot of hobnobs, not hobgoblins.
They're mischievous and cheeky in appearance. These remind me more of the elves, what we would call as elves now.
Right.
Because they spend their time helping Pierre Noël, which is Father Christmas, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But they like a lot of pranks and fun. So they're really kind of like nice ones. So we've gone from like the evilest one, which is the cat, the Yule cat, to lutins.
So the further south down into Europe, you know, you've got up in Scandinavia, they're all quite sort of, you know, vicious up there. But now you're sort of coming down into sort of Europe proper, you know, France and stuff. Yeah, I suppose, you know, they our sort of hobgoblins and fairies are more mellow, you know, sort of kick back a bit.
Or maybe we just don't like to scare our children so much.
Probably. They're probably very difficult up there, yeah, them dark nights, trying to entertain the children or trying to get them to go to bed.
Maybe.
Wait till you get to Krampus.
He might have to wait a minute. So let's have a quick look at the Tomten. Now, this was actually from the books of Astrid Lindgren. Now, these Christmas creatures look a little like a garden gnome. They are known to be protectors of your home, but they do have a temper. So you have to keep them happy. So you leave... Again, I'm coming back to Faye on this one. You leave out food for them on Christmas Eve. And apparently they love butter and porridge. So if you've chucked your oats out for your reindeer, then you've kind of fulfilled that one, right?
I love your doorstep, wouldn't they?
See, I was keeping me Tomten happy. But again,
we'll see the doctor about that.
We talk about, even like throughout various festivals and traditions, we talk about leaving things out for the fairy folk, and you know, like the elves and the sprites and the elementals and all, you know, however you want to class them as. And the first slice of cake, honey cake in particular, should be left out for the fae. So these traditions are, although we're seeing them under the Christmas banner, these are fae folklore that are coming through, aren't they?
Well,
a lot of fae stuff did come through because, you know, going into like the winter months and stuff, we was always, you know, looking out for the fae.
But these characters we're looking at, the sort of like the Fae and the fairy folk, the hobgoblins, they are about all year round, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
As opposed to just coming out.
But again, you're giving them recognition for their role, as it were.
Yeah.
And although we would do things all year round for them, at Christmas it becomes more in focus because it is a hard time. So I suppose that's why we acknowledge them more at this time of year, and they've come through into those traditions. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We've actually come to the end of the first half already.
Oh. Wow.
I know, right? So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll join you right after this with more beautiful Christmas information.
Hello, Harry Price here. If there's nothing me and my friends enjoy more here on the other side, it is to sit back and relax and listen to the Paranormal Concept Show, right here on the PAUK Radio Network. Broadcasting a plethora of interesting and informative content for all your paranormal needs. Find them across social media to keep up to date with forthcoming shows and all their other adventures. Hello, is there anybody there?
And welcome back to the Paranormal Concept Show, exclusive to the Paranormal UK Radio Network. Now this week we are delving into the traditions and characters surrounding Christmas, is what we're doing, because apparently it's Christmas in like 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah, not far now, is it?
Not far now. Better start wrapping presents, I suppose.
Yeah, well, if you're dressed up as the head elf, you should really...
I should be rapping like a mad
Yeah.
woman.
I'll bring mine round tomorrow. You can do mine as well. It's a job.
Go away, in very polite terms. Put there. I'll have to empty all my cupboards out. This is when you realise how much you bought. And you go, oh, I forgot I bought that. And oh, I forgot I bought that. And then all your cupboards are empty because I've got boxes.
Yeah, and
everywhere.
you go, and then you find a present that you want, and it's to your kids or something. Oh, and they're not having that.
No, I bought them all this extra. They can have.
Yeah.
I can have that now.
This is the time of year you really wish you were a bachelor and an only child, wasn't it?
Oh, the hellhounds come down at the thought of a present.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Frosty. Frosty the Snowman. He was immortalised in the hit Christmas song by Steve Nelson and Jack Rollins. Now, again, this is like how often do we get snow at Christmas in the UK?
Not very.
Yeah, not very often. But then it wasn't it's not something that the UK is very well known for. And most of the idyllic, snowy scenes for Christmas actually originated from Charles Dickens.
They did, back in Victorian times. Were winters particularly colder then? Was that a thing?
Yes, everything seems to have moved over by a couple of months. Like here in the UK now, we're more likely to get snow in sort of January, January, February time, and even into March. Whereas before, sort of, I don't know whether it's to do with climate and stuff like that. I mean, snow in November was pretty common.
Yeah.
And was it true that the Thames used to freeze and they used to have markets on the Thames?
Yes, we had a sort of mini a very sort of glitch during the 17th century, I believe, 16th or 17th, and it used to totally freeze over, and they used to have their markets and stuff actually on the Thames.
My God,
yeah, it wasn't very often.
They didn't have central heating then?
No.
Oh, that would have been parky in the morning, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you need an extra pair
I
of
think you'll find
socks
they'd be
in bed.
climatised to it, though.
Yeah, it is what you get used to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I mean, again, that's a more modern thing, central heating, because even my parents talk about like frost on the inside of the windows and stuff like that.
Even I can remember that when I was growing up. We had
I
old
can remember that as well.
You never had things like double glazing and stuff, and you always got frost on the inside of your windows.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't remember that. I'm not that old.
You must remember it, because I'm younger than you, Kerry, and I remember it.
I don't remember that at all.
Or maybe you just lived in one of these posh houses that we did.
I was gonna say, maybe I did.
Yeah.
I was very privileged as a child.
Luxury. You're a luxury, you live.
Now, Frosty the Snowman is the traditional, what we would imagine. Have you ever tried to make a snowman?
I've only a very little one. Not a, I did try, but no, I'm not a sort of a snowman maker. And perhaps perhaps there is a name for a person that builds snowmen. I don't know, but no, I was never really into that.
I think the problem is we don't get a lot of it. When we do get, where I live anyway, in particular, you're lucky if you get an inch.
Well, yeah, and plus it's probably the wrong sort of snow.
To be fair, I do
you
remember there was a few times when we had enough snow to build a snowman, but it's very few and far between because nowadays it tends to be just an inch or two. But I mean, I've had snow up to like halfway up my lower leg, and that's about as deep as it's ever got.
Yeah, but where we live, we are sheltered quite a lot because Paul, at the time, you don't live that far from me.
No.
And we are quite in a sheltered area, quite like for the UK. Whereas if you went more Kent and the outer lying counties, they had it a lot deeper than we seemed to get it down here. So our attempts at snowmen are feeble, quite frankly, because we haven't got the snow coverage.
It's like even
snow dwarfs, didn't you?
Yeah, snow gnomes.
Even where I live, which isn't too far, but that's more central Essex, we do get quite large snowfall. I think you'll find around coastal regions, which you guys are, well, it's estuary, more or less the coast. It's very rare to get heavy snowfall around because the sea, even though it's midwinter, will sort of keep the temperature up.
Apparently so. Well, Frosty the Snowman is the quintessential snowman that we all imagine. He has his corncob pipe, button nose, carrots, and all sorts of things. And he's known to come to life and love to dance.
Yeah.
Ah.
I wonder if he was a relative of the snowman, walking in the air and all that.
I thought that was Frosty the Snowman. I thought that was based on the...
Oh, I don't know. That's what I'm asking, really.
I don't know. Probably. We'll go with that, yeah. Now let's talk about elves. We love a little elf. We've already sort of talked about the French little, whatever they were called, tomtits or whatever they were. No, they weren't. They were lutins.
Weren't they?
They were lutins, weren't they? Now, elves are obviously part of Santa's workshop. They're a joy to behold. And Santa's little helpers. They're the ones that make the gifts.
Yep.
Although I think they've had to up their game in recent years into gaming and electronic.
Yeah, they probably are, sort of programming computers and stuff these days, aren't they? So, they probably had to retrain at some point.
Gone are the wooden, you got to think, gone are the wooden toys that used to get crafted in Dad's sheds and stuff for the children. And now these have been overtaken by the shops have really run with this, haven't they? And poor old elves, their work is cut out for them now because of the expectation. But I will say this, there's rather than the main gift that you give your children, the PS5 or whatever it be, coming from Santa, do a little gift from Santa and do your main gift from you. Because you might find in the kids' classrooms that there aren't as advantaged children as yours. And they can't understand why Santa can give one kid a PS5 and another kid maybe a knitted jumper, for example. Who knows?
Nothing wrong with buying knitted jumpers. I was happy with them.
No, but kids don't understand that, do they? It's the same as like one kid all dressed up in designer gear and another kid can't afford it.
Yeah.
And so I love the idea of Santa Claus providing all the presents, but that's not very nice for children who maybe haven't got parents that can afford all of the, the expensive or designer or posh gift or, the more expensive gifts. So, maybe think of it in those terms, that the smaller gift comes from Santa and then the big gifts come from you. At the end of the day, you work bloody hard all year round to provide these for your children. Take some credit for it.
Well, yeah. Especially if you work in retail.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. right? Did you know this? I work in retail. And at Christmas it's horrendous. No, I'm joking. It's been a very different year this year. I will say that in retail.
Well,
We haven't had the build-up this year. It doesn't feel like Christmas because we haven't had the usual Christmas build-up. Anyway, Mr. Claus, Santa himself, has a sidekick, a Mrs. Claus. He got married. Bless her. I feel sorry for this woman. Now, she is a very powerful woman in her own right. Okay, she's very faithful. And although she doesn't get the glory, like Daddy Claus, she is the engine that keeps Christmas alive. Basically, she is busy cooking for the elves and making sure Santa's well and ready to go every year. She also looks after the reindeer, apparently.
Oh, right, I see. Yeah, well, and she obviously does cook well because you see the size of Santa. You know, he's pretty well fed by the looks of it.
Look, mate, if you had to go around every single house in the world and have a mince pie, you'd look like that too, I'm sure. Even once a year, that's enough to pile the weight on.
So here's a toast to Mrs. Claus, the unsung hero of Christmas.
Well, women usually are. We are. And I know this sounds quite sexist, but we are generally the ones that are the mechanics behind the Christmas family frivolities. We tend to buy the food, we tend to buy the presents, we tend to do all the wrapping, we tend to do all the decorating. I know we nag our men into doing some, but we do the majority of the workload, I would argue.
That's because the bloke can never get it right.
Because a bloke will a bloke will use Amazon. That's a lot easier, isn't it, Paul?
Well, yeah, and not only that, a bloke will put the Christmas tree up, put the decorations on, and then sit down with a beer, and then the woman will go, "That's not right." No, that bit goes there. That bit goes,
yeah, because it's pointless doing anything.
If you're really clever, you just say, "Well, you put the tree up in the first place."
I do not like this sexist attitude that is coming out in you. If you wanted to make your woman happy, then you should be doing it to her specifications. You know what she likes. You know how she likes things done. Just do it in that way. It's so much easier. And it would be really appreciated. It would actually be more appreciated.
It's totally irrelevant because no matter what you do, it ain't going to be right.
Oh, see, that's a get out.
But I will sort of back Kerry here and to appease her. And there is an old saying, which I do believe is true. They say the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Maybe we should have another female prime minister, is what I'm saying. Anyway.
Well, all I can say is that I've helped raise my godchildren and I've rocked the cradle a few times.
I'm not saying they don't have any input. I'm just saying it's more minimal compared to what women put in. I had a customer come in, actually, and she was telling me about her plans for Christmas, as you do. You get talking, don't you? And I was sitting there thinking, she walked away, she left the shop, and I turned around to the girls and I went, I feel like the worst mother in the world. I don't do any of that for my children. She goes all out. She saves all year for it. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm last minute Joe over here. I don't do any of it. Yeah. She has... She puts presents on the bottom of their beds. Even the older kids. This is like, not just the little ones, these are the big ones as well. Everybody has a present for the end of the bed as well as under the tree. They all have a stocking as well. She does the shelf on the elf thing. The elf on a shelf thing, rather, should I say. She does gingerbread houses with them. Oh, my God, it's just that it was endless. And I'm like, and I'm serving her thinking, oh, my God, the effort. I'm knackered when I get in from her. I can't be asked to even cook dinner, let alone anything else.
Well, there you go.
Oh, well, anyway. So I am one of the evil Christmas characters. I decided at the end of that. So let's go over to Frau Perchta. This is a gruesome old witch who doles out brutal punishments to those who've misbehaved in the lead up to the 12 days of Christmas. When does the 12 days of Christmas start, boys? Do we know? Can we remember?
Christmas Day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to question time.
Well, there you go. I remember these things.
She doesn't like children who don't tell the truth.
Well, there you go.
So
I bet she's busy around this time of year.
So if you've got a little lie child, then be prepared, because a full perched will come and get you. Now, she does actually have a sense of justice. So those who have been good and are very deserving, she will give them a present, but she won't to those who are naughty and dishonest.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the typical sort of, good, bad, isn't it? Good you get a present, bad you don't. Yeah, that's what we threaten the kids with, isn't it? And how many times, and when the kids were little, it's this time of year, you think, oh, well, and if you stop playing up in the soup, and if you don't stop playing up in the supermarket, I'll tell Father Christmas.
It never worked. I have to say with mine, cherubs, it never worked, that one. They were just like, yeah, well, we know Santa Claus is going to buy us presents anyway, so... Same as the Easter Bunny, he was always going to bring us chocolate, so... Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Jack Frost. He's lovely, good old Jack Frost. He dances and prances around, making beautiful patterns on windows.
Yeah, both inside and out.
Paul?
And he nips at your nose.
He does nip at your nose. He's also referred to as Old Man Winter. Oh, God gave up because we stopped talking about presents. He's also referred to Old Man Winter, and he is a lovely chap. He has got a very nice little character, even though he is, responsible for ice and snow. And if you don't believe in him, you might end up with not a very nice Christmassy Christmas.
Oh, well, yeah, so Jack Frost, would he be classed as a sprite?
I would say so, yeah. I'll class him as a sprite.
Yeah, but he's always seemed quite sort of harmless, isn't it? Even though sort of you don't like the cold, at least he tries and makes the best of it by leaving pretty patterns on your windows.
He makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
You go out on a really frosty morning. If you go out first thing in the morning and it's all frosty and it's all white, it might not last, but the patterns and the spider webs where you see the frost on the spider webs and stuff, he actually makes it very beautiful.
Yeah.
We can't talk about Christmas without talking about Dickens.
Yes.
Well, we've mentioned him already before.
We have, and you want to meet the ghosts of Christmas past, present and yet to come, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Humbug.
What would your ghosts tell you then, Paul?
I don't know, but I'd offer them a humbug.
Richard, what would yours tell you?
Well, the Ghost of Christmas Past will probably say, get over it. the ghost of... I think he'll probably say that to most people, won't he?
Yeah, true. That's a fair point.
The Ghost of Christmas Present will start singing to me. Because he does that.
Well, I think the Ghost of Christmas Present would still have a few niggles at you, and a few sort of digs, but he'll sort of say, come on, you're on the right track, and was it the Ghost of Christmas yet to come? Well, who knows? He goes...
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that the moral of the story is let go of the past, stay in the appreciate the present, appreciate what you have and the people around you and what you have got, and then the ghost of yet to come can be quite a gloomy character if you don't pay attention to the first two lessons.
Yeah.
Yes. That's probably
don't regret, not to regret. You'll regret, won't you, in the future? Now, this... We all love Ebenezer. Which is your favourite? I think we've talked about this before, but what's your favourite? I like the Bill... Oh, Bill somebody or other.
Do you mean Bob Scratchit?
No, the actor. Murray. Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah, Bill Murray in Scrooged.
Yes, I like that version.
Yes, I do like that version. I like the Muppets Christmas Carol. That's my favourite version.
Yeah, it's got Michael Caine in it.
No, it's not the fact that Michael Caine's in it, but I just like the Muppets in general. They're amazing. And we just grew up with them, and
Yeah, I mean,
it's traditionally Christmas when the Muppets on the telly.
I've seen many renditions of Scrooge. I mean, I can't really sort of pick out a particular one. It's not I've really paid much attention to the story. I always felt sorry. What was it? Tiny Tim with the crutch.
Yeah.
Tiny Tim, yeah.
Yeah, I felt for him, but...
Well, that was the point. You had to feel for him to make Christmas better for Scrooge.
Yeah, and wasn't Scrooge a bookkeeper or something? He used to sit on that high chair. And
Scrooge was the money lender, wasn't he?
Oh, was he a money lender or something?
Yeah.
Counting all his money.
Bob Cratchit was the one that was doing the books, the counting.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And
Paid a pittance.
Tiny Tim was Bob's son.
Right.
And they lived in poverty because Scrooge was so tight and wouldn't let him have time off for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it was all about that, wasn't it?
It was.
Now, the ghost of Christmas past is traditionally a white robe figure who hasn't really got an age. He's indeterminable, if that's the word. And you will recognise him because his bright candle-like head beams out radiant light. So you'll see him coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Me past has caught up with me.
He's to remind you of all your wonderful Christmas memories. And talking of Christmas memories, what's your most enduring?
Me getting a Joe 90 car. Which is what I wanted all year. It was a TV series of puppets like Thunderbirds, and that was something that that is the one Christmas present I really remember. Gave me blisters of all things because it had a little catch you had to pull back to get the wings out, and that was so stiff. I thought, it gave me blisters on the end of my thumb.
Yeah.
Paul, what's your most enduring Christmas memory?
Do you know what? I remember quite a few presents that I've always wanted and got. I think one that always sticks in my mind is my first record player. And it was a kid's record player, obviously. And the first record I ever bought for it was I Wish I Could Fly by Keith Harrison Orville.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Come on. Now, come on, Kerry. What was your must-have when you was little? Or...
Well, the main present I really remember, I remember two, actually. I remember one Christmas, Mum sending me round to my aunt's, and I really didn't want to go. And my sister was like, oh, I'll go. And Mum was going, no, you're both going. And she forced us out the door, and I moaned the whole way to my aunt's house. It's only around the corner. It weren't exactly far. I didn't want to go. Anyway, our main present was there, and they bought us bikes that year. And I felt really bad because I'd moaned the whole way to my aunt's and created a big old scene, as you do at home, because you didn't want to go. And it was our bikes. And, of course, we come riding back, flying back on these bikes. And Mum and Dad were outside. Waiting for us to see us come back on our bikes. And my mum's first words were, "Bet you're happy now, aren't you?" So I remember that. And then as I got a bit older, I wanted a clarinet. I was really into my music. And I wanted a clarinet. But, of course, that's quite a big present to ask for. And they'd got me a clarinet. And I've still got it to this day.
Cool.
So they're my two enduring Christmas memories of presents, anyway. What about other kind of enduring memories, like funny or anecdotal kind of things? Have you got any of those? Rather than presents, think about more...
My mum's pièce de résistance, she made the Christmas cake and she left it on the table. And we used to have a beagle, and I think you know what's coming. Beagle ate half of it. And it's before she iced it and everything, but it was so close to Christmas, she didn't have time to make another one. So that year we just had half a Christmas cake.
Paul?
No, I can't think of anything really. No.
I always remember my granddad with the Christmas hat, like Christmas cracker hats. He would always, on the Christmas cracker, he'd always split it a bit, so you were the one that won it every year. So every time you pulled a cracker with him, you're the one that won it because he'd split the thing just so he'd like to see your face when you won the cracker when we was little. And then we'd all have our Christmas hats on around the table, and it would always fall over his nose, and he would always eat his dinner with this hat bobbing up and down on his nose. I remember that so distinct. I love my granddad. Oh, I miss him so much. So what about the ghost of Christmas present? Now this is basically a gratitude of what, showing you. The ghost itself resembles Santa. He wears a fur-lined green robe and holds a large torch. Now, he will show you the scenes of Christmas around you in the neighbourhood. And it's about not what you have, but what you make of it. So you might not have a lot of money, but it is all about what you make of it. And I think this year this is quite prevalent, isn't it? It's going to be a very different Christmas this year to what we normally have. I mean, I haven't seen my friends all year round. I've seen them on Skype, obviously, and on FaceTime and stuff like that. But I haven't actually. We used to have Christmas. I say used to. It's only last year, but we'd all get together and have a big party and get together and we've not done that this year. So this year is going to be very, very different for people. But I think you kind of really have to appreciate what you can do this year, but still be safe, because you don't want to pass the virus around any more than necessary.
No, of course you don't.
Well, that's right. And I think, and as you say, Kerry, it is a chance, sort of like to reflect and sort of get back to basics and just enjoy what you are presented with, and don't sort of, because a lot of people seem to be moaning about it, but, there's not a lot we can do about it.
No, there isn't. And if you haven't been able to buy the presents you normally would, it's not about that. It's about spending time as a family, playing silly games that you've probably got in the cupboard that you haven't dug out for years, I know we've had plenty of lockdown time, but there's a lot of... We started this year with quiz night between the presenters and our relatives and other friends that have come in at various times. And that's been great every week. And that's like a new thing that started this year, but it's been a great addition to life, hasn't it, really? And
it has, yeah. And I think we'll progress, carry it on as well.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
It is good fun. And every week somebody different did the quizzes, and that's a new thing. And that's not going to go away. So appreciate what you've got in the present. And even though it's different from what you're used to having, be grateful that you've had it in the past. And you will have it again in the future. It's just this year is going to be very different. And what about yet to come? Now, this is where the Grim Reaper with the spooky hooded cloak. So if you see him, run the other way, as he's known to point out to his creepy hands the future, and leaving you unable to appreciate all the festive joy that's happening. And, so what do we make of the ghost of Christmas yet to come? I don't see future as a negative thing, actually. I think you have to evolve with the circumstance and you have to accept change. And like I say, maybe regret is what his lesson is. Yeah,
because doesn't the ghost of Christmas yet to come point to Scrooge's funeral procession?
Yeah, his grave, wasn't it?
His grave, and everyone's saying, oh, thank God he's gone. Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, rather than, oh my God, that's sad that he's gone. They're actually quite glad because he didn't enhance anybody's life.
No, he didn't add anything to it. He sort of...
And it's not about money. I want people to get away from this idea of the money factor. It's not always about that. It's little things. Little things can make a big difference, can't they?
Of course you can. Absolutely.
Anyway, let's move off from Dickens and his moralistic tales. Let's have a look at another horse. Let's have a look at the Mari Louis.
Mari Louis? It sounds a bit Welsh.
I was going to say, maybe the L's are silent. Maybe it's Mari Wid. Mari Wid. Actually, that sounds more Welsh.
Yes, we do apologise to any Welsh listeners.
We apologise to anybody from any other language other than Essex, to be fair, for any show that we've done this year. Now, this is a zombie horse in Wales.
Oh, you two are going to be all over this, aren't you?
Love a zombie horse.
Yeah, because we love zombies.
She rises from the dead to remind the living of their mortality. Her and her not-so-merry band will hang around outside your house until you run out of ways to keep them out. Then you'll have to supply the food and drink all night long. Sounds like a party.
Gosh, they sound like the gate crashers from hell.
They're gate crashers.
Want them coming to you? Yeah.
Yeah. This is almost like an extension of the Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Don't regret, otherwise you'll have to have this Welsh...
Or you'll have to have the zombie horse people
The zombie
round.
horse people round, yeah.
As they come riding up your drive and go, hang on.
And then when you can't think of ways to keep them out, they come in and have a party.
We might as well just open the door and let them have a party anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So help yourselves. We're off out.
Let's jump to the Yule goat. Now, this is a Scandinavian Christmas folklore. Oh my God. Honestly, everything we're talking about just is fae and fairy and elemental all over it, isn't it, basically?
Hell yeah.
The Yule goat.
It is, and I think it's just because of the time, isn't it? Christmas time.
Yeah. Whereas, like, under normal so they'll still be around.
Mm.
This actually comes down to your favourite area, Paul. This is Scandinavian, which is basically Nordic, and they're partners to the god Thor. They pull along his chariot. So rather than reindeer and Santa Claus, you've got Thor and his goats.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
What an image that would be.
That would be an
Thundering
image.
across the sky.
Exactly.
Yeah, thunder and lightning, very, very frightening.
Yeah, with his hammer.
With his hammer. They are considered the best bearers of gifts the world has ever seen. Oh, that reminds me of an advert. It's not a... How would it go? It would be something like, if Carlsberg did Christmas, he'd have Thor and his goats or something like that.
Yeah. Perhaps you have to get more acquainted with the Yule goat, Paul, because you might get your PC5 or whatever it is you
Oh
want.
my God, it's a PS5, Richard.
Oh, PS5. I don't know these things.
Oh, you've got to love Richard. He doesn't pay attention at all, does he? You've only been talking about this for the last 6 months. Oh,
Yeah, be tech, eh?
bless you. Oh, so cute. Now, and let's go for the last one, which is, well, I say last one, we've got a bit more to go, but in this section anyway. The Slavic folklore at Christmas time is all about Dead Moroz. Dead Moroz. He is the equivalent to Santa. He's the equivalent. It sounds like a vampire. He is. Oh, what are we talking about? He has a blur. He has a blue fur coat and a magic staff. Sounds like a wizard to me, right?
Well, it does, doesn't it? Sounds very sort of wizardy. Has he got a pointy hat as well?
No, it doesn't say.
No.
He is known as Grandfather Frost, and he is a very jovial character, reminds you of someone. I wonder if the red coat and the blue coat sounds like a bad weekend away at Butlins, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does a bit, doesn't it?
Butlins versus Pontins, isn't it?
He delivers presents to children on New Year's Eve. Let's not tell the children about that one, because they'll expect presents for a few days of the year. Oh, dear.
Yeah, because he does turn up a little bit later, doesn't he?
Now, his granddaughter is the princess-like Christmas character, and she accompanies him. Now, who does this remind you of? She has silvery blue robes and a furry hat. Modern day, can we think of what that might remind you of?
No.
She has snow white skin, deep blue eyes, and a beautiful fair hair. I kind of want to break
Snow
into...
White?
No, more modern than that.
Oh, you're talking about, Let It Go.
That's right.
Frozen.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
Frozen.
This reminds me of her. I don't suppose it is. But there are many fairy tales and operas that have been created about her particular life. So who knows? Maybe she is the inspiration for the old Frozen. Oh,
Well,
that
she's
is a
known as the
brilliant song.
Snow Maiden, so it's very possible.
Quite possible indeed. And if you spot her, you're supposed to feel very blessed to have been in her presence.
Yeah, but you got to let it go.
Let it go.
She's a bit of a vain one then, is she?
She certainly is.
Yeah.
I say vain. No, I wouldn't say she was vain.
She's followed around by a little snowman. Olaf, wasn't it?
It was Olaf. And that takes you back to Frosty the Snowman, who comes alive.
Yeah.
See, it all ties in, guys. It all ties in.
All links, yeah.
Getting there.
Links in. Right, and good old Walt Disney's done it again, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a lot to answer for.
He does. Right, let's go and have a little look at Belsnickel.
Yeah.
Somebody else take the lead on this one while I have a little drink.
Why should Cotham show? Yeah, now Belsnickel originated in what's that? Oh Christ! Palatine, a region of southwest Germany, along the Rhine.
And you like Germany, Richard, so...
Well, yeah, in an area called Baden-Wittelsburg. wherever that is. The figure is also preserved in. He's also preserved in the Pennsylvanian Dutch community. So he obviously travelled over there with the German migrants during the 18th century.
Yep. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, and sort of roughly translated as fur in German. There you go.
Yeah. And yeah, it was like fur, and nickel refers to the jolly old St. Nicholas. So hence Bell's nickel. So yeah, and he used to wear furs or pelts, and his figure from German folklore does indeed dole out the occasional gift, like Santa Claus.
So, right, so he even carries a sack filled with candy and nuts. And again, this sort of goes back, if you do, you get your candy and nuts. And yeah, that is...
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's where pretty much the similarity ends, because instead of a nice coat, Bell's Nickel's fur is quite grimy and dirty, where obviously St. Nick is just, all clean and tidy. But St. Nicholas will leave you a lump of coal with for naughty children, where Bell's Nickel will literally whip them on their backs with a switch.
Oh yeah, where you've got to enjoy a good flogging at Christmas time.
Yeah, he will beat the naughty children, and I think sometimes children need that. I reckon, don't you?
Maybe we should start this tradition in the UK for the.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't go amiss, would it?
For the entitled children. He showed up 1 to 2 weeks before Christmas and would give them a bit of a fright beforehand, so they would behave. Is what he would do.
So he's like a harbinger, I'm here. You've got 2 weeks to get your act together.
Yeah, basically. He would rap on the window with his stick, and then the children would have to answer a question for him. Now, if depending on how nice he was being, depended on how difficult the question was, right? Or they would have to sing him a type of song. And in exchange, he would then toss candies onto the floor. And if they jumped too quick for the treats, i.e. being greedy little monkeys, then they may end up being struck with his switch.
So you're
damned if you... So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, really, with him.
Yeah, one of these questions will probably be something like, how many lights in Regent Street this year?
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah.
I was thinking, when I was reading this, I was thinking about the Sphinx. Didn't the Sphinx used to have to set a riddle?
Yes.
And I was thinking, and they were really difficult.
Yeah. It's no point having a riddle that's easy.
And I was thinking that this could be that type of character, basically. But in 1853, in a British magazine, they referred to the Pennsylvanian customs as Pelsnickel, or Nicholas with the fur, going back to the translation. Basically, they identified that with Krishkinkle. Now, isn't that what we do in church, the Christingle?
The Christingle is, because a Christingle is basically an orange with a ribbon around it, and in 4 quarters on the top, you got like toothpicks with some sweets on it, and a candle sticking out the top. Obviously, the candle represents the light of Jesus. The orange is the earth. The ribbon around it divides the earth up into 4 sections. So you've got the 4 seasons, and I can't remember what the sweets represent, but there's something that represents as well.
Not to take them too soon, otherwise you're going to get hit with a birch rod.
Well, that's probably what it is. Yeah, you've got to leave until...
Well, yeah.
Okay. Don't be so greedy. I don't know if it is linked to that particular one, but it just reminded me of that when they were talking about Chris Crinkle. So I was thinking, is that Chris Dingle? Is that what... I don't know. I could be completely off kilter on that one. But anyway, when World War II saw a decline in this tradition, because basically they wanted to distance themselves from the bad connotations of the Germanic culture. So they saw a decline in this. Ripping children 2 weeks before Christmas. It doesn't really give you a good, it kind of is a German thing, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, that's just...
Now, he is an amalgamation of good St. Nick's and bad Krampus, and it gives you that duality, isn't it? The good and the bad, which we're seeing quite a lot in this. We're seeing good characters, bad characters coming through, good fairies, bad fairies, good goblins, bad goblins, you know what I mean? You're getting good witches, bad witches, it's all in there. And you always have this duality that goes on.
Yeah, they're sort of trying to sort of you're presented with these characters at a particular time of the year, and it's to sort of make you look at yourself, isn't it, and choose your own path and which you want to take.
Yeah. Do you think then that Christmas is a time for reflection?
Well, yeah, it certainly should be. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the only sort of constant of all sort of like the things we celebrate. Sort of Easter and all this quasar religious festivals. It's the one that has remained constant. I know people will sort of say, "Oh, it's all over commercialised and too modern and stuff," but no, that's just the way it's developed. But it is a constant in our lives, and how many times do you sort of hear during the year someone will wryly say, well, it's only sort of 16 weeks to Christmas, and everyone sort of lets out a groan, but as it approaches, things start to pick up, don't they? You start looking forward to it.
Yeah. When we come out of the summer and the weather starts to turn, it can be quite a bad time, it can cause a lot of problems. You get a lot of SAD, mental health problems reoccur. Yeah. It's well known when the weather starts to turn, and you don't have a lot to look forward to, apart from Halloween.
Yeah, because, I think...
Go on, Richard. I'll leave
I think, yeah, because Halloween is sort of like officially the start of sort of the winter months, isn't it? And you kick off sort of having the festival, and the Christmas sort of festival is you're well into it by now, so it's like a bit of relief once you're well into the dark months. It's just after the longest day and everything, whereas Halloween will mark the start of it, whereas Christmas is a bit of a sort of a respite in the middle, something that gives us to focus on. And to keep us focused for the next few months.
I think as well, because it's at the end of the year, it is a good time to reflect what you've done over that year, how you are now, and what you can do in the future as your aims and goals. And especially with obviously the New Year's coming in about a week after Christmas anyway. So it is a good time to have that reflection. And I think that is part and parcel of what Charles Dickens was saying in the Christmas Carol, because, over that thing, he was reflecting on the past, present, and looking towards the future.
Yeah, I agree. I find it a very reflective time of year, Christmas.
Yeah.
I remember my past relatives more around the Christmas period, like people that have gone. I find myself looking at what occurred in the year, taking stock of what I want to take forward into the new year. This happens all around this period of time. It's a time of, you've had a lot of new things, getting rid of the old, decluttering. I find it very cathartic at this time of year. It is an amalgamation of past, present and future all in one. You're making memories in the present. You're reflecting on the people that have come and gone in the past, loved ones that are not with us any longer, which can make it quite a sad time for people. Remembering maybe you've lost somebody this year, so they've passed, they're not with you that Christmas. So it becomes very different. And then you look into the future, looking to what you're going to, the germs of ideas for what you want to achieve and what you're looking forward to in the coming year. So it is an amalgamation of time in this period.
Well, that's it. I mean, for me, my reflection for this year was like all last year, it was quite surreal. We didn't have much to do. and I could have really have done with that PS5. Like the present, I could quite easily play on the PS5 now, and for next year, if I don't get a PS5 for Christmas, that's a lot less presents I've got to buy for next year.
I see. Is that how we're going, is it?
That's exactly how it's going.
I think Christmas is a good waypoint to, as you say, Kerry, to reflect and to sort of shake off your last vestiges of perhaps mourning if you sort of have lost loved ones along the way and stuff like that. It's sort of it gives you sort of like a point in saying, this is the last, well, not the last chance to remember, but the official sort of last chance, and they will always be in your thoughts, but this is where you sort of will have to sort of let them go.
I wouldn't say, no, I don't see it like that. I see it as a bringing them forward to be part of it. Mm-hmm. That's more it, actually, I think. For me, anyway, I'm talking for myself here, is, as I say, I will go to I only go once a year, and it's at Christmas, to lay flowers at the graves. Do you know what I mean? And I only ever do that at Christmas. I don't do it like on their day of death, or on their birthday. I do it at Christmas. For me, it's just a way of remembrance, of gratitude that so I had some amazing relatives in my life. I'm very blessed as a person with my relatives in the past, and for me it's a point of remembrance. Not sad though, if that makes sense. It's nostalgic, I suppose, is more the term. Anyway, let's jump from Christmas Day and jump to Boxing Day. Because Boxing Day always follows Christmas Day, and it's a weird day.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty much all day.
Boxing Day always has a feeling to me. I can't quite sort of put my finger on it, but you always sort of, if you took me sort of out and just plumped me on any day of the year, and if it was Boxing Day, and I would know it was Boxing Day, if you know what I mean. I don't know why. Has that weird feeling. But the other thing I like about Boxing Day, it has my favourite Christmas meal: cold turkey, mashed potato, and baked beans.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, you've got to try it.
Yeah, we won't be.
That's the only saving grace.
Day, Richard.
Yeah, I'm not going around Richard's on Boxing Day. Yeah, I don't mind the cold turkey bit, but cold turkey, chips and pickles, yeah.
It's got to be mashed potato and baked beans.
Oh, no thanks.
Plenty of tomato sauce.
Anyway, Boxing Day actually got its name when Queen Victoria was on the throne in the 1800s. So nothing to do with boxing as per se. It was actually when the rich used to box up gifts to give to the poor, basically an alms kind of day.
Do you know what? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think it was just a day to get rid of them hideous Christmas jumpers you got for Christmas.
You give them to the poor.
To the needy.
Yeah. It's like, here's your Christmas present. I only got it yesterday from Aunt Elmo.
It's brand new.
Yeah. Never been used.
It was traditionally a day off for the servants and a day when they received special Christmas boxes from their master. Now, nowadays, we see it as basically you get Christmas Day and Boxing Day. You can spend two families, right? One day you spend with one family, the next you spend with your partner's family, or the other way around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's you are right, and that is the sort of day you usually have to endure people you don't like.
You didn't say that out loud, did you, Richard? You just did, didn't you? Now, but this is also, as I say, going back in time, it was that traditional day off for the servants. They've worked all Christmas Day for their masters, and they get their day off on the Boxing Day. They would go home on Boxing Day to give Christmas boxes to their families. So this was more the poor, the serving people's day, rather than Christmas Day. Yeah. They got Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Now, it's also, it does have other religious connections. It's I can't speak now. St. Stephen's Day in Ireland and in the Catalonia region of Spain. And in European countries like Hungary, Germany, Poland, the Netherlands, it's actually celebrated as a second Christmas Day. They don't just get one, they get two.
Lucky buggers.
Now, it's also partly to do with the church as to why we have a Boxing Day. Now, through the year, they would take money from churchgoers. We always put in a collection at Christmas, right? And not Christmas, throughout the year. When you go to church, they always hand round the thing, don't they? Whatever it's called. And you put your money in.
Yeah, the tithe.
Yeah. Now, they would open that on Christmas Day, and then the money was then handed out to the poor on Boxing Day as well. So the churches are the place to be if you're a poor person, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, you sort of open the box at Christmas time and I said, and who's been putting all these washers in here?
However, this has sort of moved, as we've moved away from the church per se, not many, I say not many, I know there is still a lot of people that do still go to church on a regular basis, but a lot of people don't now as well. And this is where tips come in. So rather than going to church and leaving your money in the tip jar, as it were, at the church, that's why you would do it for your binman and your postman and your, the paper boy that used to be the milkman. All those people that used to come to your house and do deliveries. That's what you would do. You'd leave out a little bit of extra money for them in the weeks to call Christmas. And it's called the Christmas box. I put it in this Christmas box. Now, that's quite an old-fashioned term. My nan used to say it. It's part of their Christmas box. Yeah. And it's an envelope. And I'd be like, it's not a box, it's an envelope, Nan. Do you know what I mean? But that's what she used to say. It's part of their Christmas box, and that's where it comes from.
I can remember my paper round, my first Christmas. I thought, because we used to have to go around and collect the money on a Friday, and I thought, get the tips in, Christmas. 45 pence. I wasn't that impressed.
Obviously, they didn't like you that much, Richard.
Well, yeah, I mean, I still haven't really got over that, but there you go.
Right, it also used to, doesn't now, but it used to always have a football match on Boxing Day.
Yes.
Still do, yeah. They usually have the Boxing Day matches, then they're usually sort of like in the Premier League here, they usually reserve those for the big games, the big clubs, like the local derbies and stuff like that.
Well, they get paid enough money, is all I'm saying, to actually put on a show for Boxing Day. That's not a bad thing, right?
No.
Yeah, and in Australia, they have a cricket match, a test match on a Boxing Day.
Yes, they do.
That's a big thing.
Used to be played on Christmas Day, apparently. And then they decided to move it to Boxing Day, yeah.
Yeah, the Boxing Day test.
Yeah. The football match last
year. The families.
The last football match on Christmas Day was in 1957. And now it got moved to Boxing Day. Mm. Now, this year's a bit weird, our Boxing Day, because it falls on a Saturday.
Well, they move it then, won't they? It'll be on a Monday.
And they've moved it to the Bank Holiday Monday, which has caused massive confusion because we don't know whether it's Boxing Day is on the Saturday or the Monday. On the calendars, it's on the Monday.
I was born on a Boxing Day Monday.
Was you?
Yeah. Christmas fell over the weekend, and my birthday was when I was born. It was on the Monday.
Yeah, because Christmas Day and Boxing Day are bank holidays anyway. So yeah. So if a bank holiday does fall on a weekend, they will always move it to the Monday, won't they?
They certainly will. Now, say this Friday is Christmas Day. Saturday is air quote Boxing Day, but it isn't. It's Monday that's the Boxing Day.
Yeah, because they usually, if you look in the TV guides especially, they will call Saturday and Sunday something like a sort of Christmas Saturday, won't they? And Christmas Sunday, and then it'll be Boxing Day.
So Boxing Day this year is actually on the Monday, and that's actually a bank holiday. So I'm a little confused, actually, because they're still talking about a lot of shops shutting on Boxing Day. So are they shutting on the Saturday, or are they shutting on the Monday?
You have to take that up with your boss, Kerry.
I certainly have, but they don't know either, to be fair. All I know is that my shop isn't shutting, but some of the big supermarkets are. So before you go shopping out on Boxing Day, for the Boxing Day sales, that's if they happen this year, because I have a funny feeling that the sales aren't going to be what you would normally expect this year, then check, because of the way it's falling, it could be either day. They might well be shut.
Didn't sales used to start on Boxing Day?
They did. They used to queue up
Yeah.
Christmas night, didn't they? The old Harrods sale, and they used to have people queuing outside,
Yeah.
staying overnight over the Christmas period to make sure they get in to get their goods. But you don't see sales like that now. I think that's been taken over by Black Friday, hasn't it? Which is at the end of November.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Plus, a lot of retail now, they sort of have sales, and throughout the year now, they don't have the specific sort of set sales like years ago. It used to just be two, wouldn't it? You'd have a summer sale and a Boxing Day sale, wouldn't you?
Yeah, now you have spring sale, you have promotions throughout the year, you have all sorts of delights to draw people into your store. But it has lost what it used to be. I mean, I remember watching TV when I was younger in the news, and there was people queuing outside, camping outside like Harrods and places like that, ready for the Boxing Day sale. But I have to say this, I don't think this year is going to be the same for sales. Not only have we still got COVID to worry about, so you want to encourage people to shop, but not in crowds.
Yeah.
And I think the retail industry has been hit so hard in regard to sales that there isn't a lot to put into the sale like there would normally be. Normally it's a good clear out of all your old crappy Christmas stock that you bought in, and we haven't had a lot of Christmas stock in this year. So I think maybe that could be another reason why there won't be the big sales that you might normally expect on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
But I could be proved wrong on that. That's just my personal feelings on that one.
And of course, the last bit of Boxing Day, well, it's sort of, as I sort of alluded to earlier, it's the day for leftovers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Why do we buy such a big bird for Christmas, I wonder?
Ah, dear, well, it's tradition, isn't it?
I'm going over to my mum's for Christmas, and she took great delight in telling me that she's got plenty of turkey this year.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she bought it online, and she's not very good with her measurements and stuff. And she's actually got a turkey that feeds 18 people.
18?
Yeah.
How is she going to fit it in her oven?
Oh, no, she'll fit it in the oven. I just think we're going to be, like, taking some turkey home with us.
I think
we might have enough for the next 16 months.
Yes, you probably will. If you freeze it, you could dish it out next year.
Yeah.
Next Christmas.
Definitely.
I made a boo-boo one year on my Christmas shopping. I did it online. I thought I'd do it online. It would be so much easier. And on the sprout factor, only a couple of people eat sprouts in my family. So I thought, just like 1 kilo would be enough, just a few. And I obviously got the quantities wrong. It was one. I literally got one sprout. Why they use their common sense in the shop when they were picking my shopping and think, no, surely she doesn't just mean one sprout. I don't know. But they didn't have one sprout. I was like, 1 sprout? What? That is, one token sprout I got that year for the Christmas dinner.
Oh.
I know, my sister was most
And
proud.
who got that sprout?
My sister. They fought over the sprout, the one sprout.
Oh,
that was brilliant.
Sprouts have a hard rap. I quite like my sprouts.
I'm not.
I can't stand them.
No.
I think they're one of those foodstuffs that people just automatically say they don't like. Without even sort of trying to.
I know that I don't like them.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, you don't like most things that are green, do you, Paul?
No, exactly, because you can taste the green.
It is the meal, though, isn't it? It's a big blowout meal. It's basically the basic components are a Sunday roast, which we tend to have every week, right? In the UK, it's a traditional thing. But we'll have pigs in blankets. We'll have cranberry sauce. We'll have bread sauce. We'll have, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Sprouts for one. We'll have multiple vegetables. We'll have a proper feast. And half the time, you're so bloated. And then you'll have, dessert, which is like your brandy butter and your double cream and your mince pies and your Christmas pudding, followed by a bit of Christmas cake in the afternoon, followed by a buffet. Then they'd put a buffet on of an evening. And I have to say, this year as a family, we've cut down a hell of a lot of what we used to do for Christmas. Because it just doesn't get eaten. It's a waste.
I think a lot of people are like that.
And we've actually sat back and gone, right, okay, so what are we going to eat rather than waste, the food waste that probably, you know, or you're eating, like you say, leftovers for days afterwards, or having buffets for days afterwards. And, you know, this year particularly, we haven't got that chance to have the big family gatherings. So, you know, if you're not going to eat it, don't buy it, don't cook it, because there's no point. It's a waste, food waste.
That's right. But
And leave the toilet bowls alone.
But you did say something which has reminded that I forgot off my shopping list, the bread sauce. I hope I can still get some.
Richard.
That's disgusting as well. You have very strange tastes, in my opinion.
You got a bit of bread sauce.
Anyway, on that note, we've actually come to the end of the show.
Oh, that was good. I enjoyed that.
End of the year as well.
As the Paranormal Concept Show, we would like to wish all of our listeners a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And we will be back in the new year with lots of fantastic new content for you going on all through the year. So we're here every Tuesday with a brand new episode of the Paranormal Concept Show. Don't forget, check out our website, which is www.paranormalconcept.com. For all of our blogs, we write blogs. We've got a new concept coming to you for the new year in our blog Factor. And go over onto social media and check out Paranormal Concept for lots of articles and all the sorts of things linked to the show that give you maybe a bit more information than we've managed to sometimes talk about on the show.
Into the show.
Exactly. So, guys, have a fantastic Christmas.
Yep, you too.
And you, Kerry.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, on that note, we've got to say
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Merry Christmas.
goodbye. Take care.